Hello, and welcome back for another episode of Uncanny Oddities. Now, tonight we have something a little different than usual planned. I have decided that for our holiday special this week, I chose Halloween for my segment, and I thought I would continue the Halloween tradition. And what better way to continue Halloween tradition than to tell a few spooky stories around the campfire? Hello, James. Good to see you tonight. Old 8 gauge. Good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. I've got some spooky tales for us tonight. Got some campfire tales, as it were. So I crafted three campfire tales for us tonight, and I formed a trilogy. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. Let's go through it. All right. So it's called the Flipman Loop Journal of Simulation Patient 80. So I'm mixing some simulation theory and a mental institution together. Got some interesting stuff together. So let's go ahead and start off by uh, giving you the style I'm going for. So I'm kind of going for a campfire cosmic horror meets creepypasta memoir meets simulation breakdown. I'm including psychological aspects, simulation theory, and some other cool stuff like that. So we got some interesting things to look forward to. So let's go ahead and go over the cast of characters first. We have Jack Flipman. That's going to be our main character. He has a hollow, skeptical, dry voice. I don't care if there's a motion at the front door. That's not what matters anymore. His voice is wavering in moments of memory, sarcastic but haunted. Ah, yes. And then we have Dr. Valen and the staff. Overly calm, gaslighting, antiseptic tone, like forced comfort. Then we have the Jinn, which is the technical term for genie, but ancient myth. It's a little different from the blue guy from Aladdin if you don't know the actual lore. But I'm going with the actual like mythology and lore of the monster Jinn, Djinn, and it has a deep whisper layered voice. Echoes like it's speaking from inside your skull. And then we're going to have an interviewer near the end with a clear, grounded voice, like a documentary filmmaker or hospice volunteer. All right, so let's go ahead and get started now. So I decided to form it kind of like journal entries and lost audio tapes. So let's go ahead and set the tone. The first entry is called 0 Hour. They told me I had delusions of grandeur. Told me I wasn't in a simulation. That the fluorescent lights above me were real. That the tiles beneath my feet weren't fractal glitches. I believed them once. Then the clocks started melting. Not like Salvador Dali paintings. I mean really melting. Seconds dripping. Time liquefying like it was tired of holding form. My name is Jack Flipman, patient 80. I didn't escape the asylum. I escaped what was inside it. Entry 2, the Ouroboros Hall. St. Rahman Asylum wasn't on any map. It had no founding date, no payroll records, no tax filings. When you stepped through the rusted iron gate, the wind behind you would vanish, like the world outside never existed. One hallway repeated itself endlessly. Ouroboros Hall. I named it that. Snake devouring its own tail. The ancient symbol of infinity, eternity, and cycles. They said it meant rebirth. In this place, it meant no escape. Then we got a tape fragment from Dr. Valen, year unknown. Jack, you're not in a loop. You've simply forgotten what's real. You experienced trauma, perhaps from a fire or the war. The number 8 doesn't mean anything, neither does the Eye of Ra. These are symbols your fractured mind uses to protect itself. Entry 3. The eye opens. I carved the Eye of Ra into my arm with a plastic fork. I needed to remember, because every morning I'd wake up and forget everything. Then I'd see it, the all-seeing eye staring back at me from the mirror, but only in reflections. The staff said it was psychosis, but I know better. The eye was watching me. It was recording me, testing, calibrating, feeding. Entry 4. Count Saint Germain and the Red Door. There was an old man in Ward 9. He didn't speak, didn't age. The staff called him Patient Zero. One night I snuck into his room. He handed me a matchbook that said, "Seek the door that bleeds. Say the name, Saint Germain." I found it, a door that pulsed like a heart. When I spoke his name, it opened, and I fell into a hallway that didn't obey time. Entry 5. The Jinn feeds. He was never a man. He was a Jinn, an old one, wrapped in smoke. He fed on agony, fear, madness. I was his garden. My nightmares were his feast. He didn't kill me. He harvested me. I saw other patients in comas, their minds looped in dream chambers, hooked to IVs of screaming thoughts. I wasn't crazy. I was trapped. Entry 6. The Infinity Room. Room 8. Floor 0. Infinity and nothing. The symbols etched into the door. The eye, the 8, and the circle of Ouroboros. Ah. Oh, the Jinn was only the middle layer. Beyond him, something vaster. The unknowable evil. A, a demiurge god, not of creation, but of recursion. It replays the simulation endlessly, every loop designed to extract the most pain from every soul in every timeline. Interview segment 2025 audio logged. So, you're interviewer. So, you're saying it's not just the asylum. It's not just the Jinn. There's something bigger? Jack Flitman. The asylum was the first dream. The Jinn was the midwife. But this is the final contraction. You don't remember me, do you? You should. You were there too. You just forgot. Interviewer. What do you mean? Jack. This isn't the ending. This is only the beginning of the next cycle of pain and torture. They say Jack Flipman died during that interview. Heart stopped, but when the body arrived at the morgue, the tag on his toe read Patient 80, St. Ramon Asylum. And the file didn't exist because the asylum doesn't exist. But if you dream of infinite halls, or wake up remembering pain that wasn't yours, maybe you were there too. Maybe this story is yours, and maybe it's still happening. The eye is watching, the Ouroboros is turning, the 8 and 0 are gates, and the unknowable evil feeds again. And then we crafted the second story of our trilogy tonight, The Mirror That Remembers. So, entry 1. Reflection is a lie. My name is Marlowe Wren, Ward 8, Room 0. They say mirrors reflect what's in front of them. Mine remembers things I never did. Last week, I looked in the mirror and saw myself in a hospital gown I've never worn. Last night, I saw my reflection blinking 10 seconds after I blinked. Today, I saw someone else entirely, a man with dark circles, cracked lips, and a number carved into his forehead. 80. Jack Flipman. They said he died before I ever arrived. They said I probably heard staff mentioning him. They said mirrors don't remember. They say a lot of things here, but the mirror knows the truth. Tape log number 22. The eye opens. I saw it again, the eye of Ra, etched into the corner of the mirror, but when I touched the glass, my finger went through, like it was made of water. Nurse Sleep. Mr. Wren, you are hallucinating. Patient 80 damaged the mirror. You are absorbing his delusions. Marlowe. Then why does the infinity symbol keep appearing on my skin when I wake up? Nurse Slate. Because you are experiencing traumatic dissociation, and because the number 8 represents cycles of grief, and 0 represents the void of identity. Marlowe. No, those are gates, aren't they? And then the tape ends abruptly. Entry 4. Saint Germain. He visited last night. Not staff, not a patient. Count Saint Germain, the immortal wanderer of history. He sat at the foot of my bed, dressed in a charcoal suit that didn't belong to this century. He told me, the mirror remembers, because you forgot. You were not born here, Marlowe. You arrived. I asked, arrived from where? He smiled. From the last cycle. Entry 8. Mirror mouth. Tonight, the mirror spoke. Oh, hold up. Got a comment. Old 8 Gauge over here says, we never walked on the moon. Elvis ain't dead. You ain't going crazy. It's all in your head. Diamond Rio. I like that one. I've never heard of Diamond Rio, but it sounds like it would be a really great singer. I like that. I like it. Because that's kind of what we're going for with this vibe is we're kind of like bordering that line between, whether or not you think like you think you're crazy or you think you're sane, or if you can't really tell sometimes. We're kind of trying to border that line between all that tonight. So tonight, the mirror spoke, not in words, but in images. It showed me the Jinn feeding on Jack Flipman, the Ouroboros turning, swallowing its tail, the number 80 branded across hundreds of rooms, a great black void behind the asylum, something vast inside the void, something watching, something waiting. Then the mirror whispered, you are next. I shattered it with my fist, but the shards on the floor kept smiling. Entry 11. The infinite door. Thank you, old 8 Gauge. I'm having fun. I just wanted to have some fun with it tonight. I wasn't trying to take it too serious. I wanted to have some fun with it tonight. Um, at the end of the hall. Oh wait, hold up. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. The infinite door, entry 11. I followed the reflections. They weren't mine. They were memories from someone else's life. Every shard pointed toward the old maintenance hallway, the one that staff says is under construction. Lies. At the end of the hall was a door marked Infinity Zero, the mirror room. I shouldn't have opened it. Inside were hundreds of mirrors, arranged in a circle, all pointed inward, but the center was empty. Then the reflections moved. All of them turned toward me. All of them said in one voice, welcome back, patient 80. Entry 12. The Jinn returns. The room melted. Mirrors stretched like mercury. forming teeth, jaws, a face made of reflections. It was him, the Jinn, Jack's tormentor. Your pain is exquisite, it whispered. Your memories ripe. I screamed at it. What do you want from me? It laughed. Not want, need. You are my next harvest. I tried to run. I tripped, fell through the mirror mouth, and into darkness. Final entry: the unknowable evil. It was waiting beyond the Jinn, a colossal shadow shaped like a man, but wrong in every dimension. The mirrors fractaled around it, showing billions of timelines, all looping inward. It stared at me with no eyes, 8 mouths, with the eye of Ra burning on its chest. It said nothing. It didn't need to. I knew it. I had known it forever. The unknowable evil, the one behind the simulation, behind the Jinn, behind Saint Rahman, behind everything. It doesn't create worlds, it recycles them. Interview with Marlowe Wren, 1 week before his death. Interviewer: do you truly believe you escaped? Marlowe: escape? Who said anything about escape? Interviewer: but these reflections, these visions, they were hallucinations, right? Marlowe: you don't remember me, do you? Interviewer: what? Marlowe: you were in the mirror room. You just forgot. This isn't the end. It's the next cycle. And it starts with you. End of story 2. And it's always fun to do those little like jump scare things at the end of the stories too. Those are always fun to drag out like that. All right, so the final one tonight that I got for you is called The Hunger of the Asylum. This final story reveals the origin of Saint Ramon Asylum, Count Saint Germain's involvement, how the simulation resets, and what the evil truly eats. It includes glitching timelines, journal entries from 1880, a present day podcaster investigating the abandoned building, a terrifying cyclical ending that ties all 3 stories together. And yes, it loops the trilogy back into itself. So then we have this final version. Let's see where I'm at. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Okay. Entry 1: The Watch That Bled Infinity. I was handed the watch by a man with no reflection. The gears were moving backward. The second hand was shaped like an Ouroboros swallowing itself. At the base of the dial, in red enamel, Infinity 08. Then he whispered, when the loop resets, you'll remember me. Until then, keep moving. Don't look at your own eyes in mirrors past 3 a.m. Entry 4: Saint Germain's Confession. To those who read this beyond time, I was the first to resist the unknowable evil. I built a bridge through time, not to escape, but to warn. I called it the Saint Germain Protocol, an attempt to encode human memory across lifetimes using ritual, resonance, and recurrence. But the Ouroboros eats my results. Every success is devoured by a new cycle. Entry 7. The Bone Piano Beneath West Creek. I returned to Saint Ramon. Beneath it, I found the bone piano, each key a vertebrae of the Jin's victims. When I played the melody written by Saint Germain, time cracked, the lights flickered, and a voice spoke. You are within recursion. All resistance is story. All story is ritual. All ritual belongs to me. Entry 13. The Last Protocol. I met Jack Flitman. He was already dead, or still dying. He smiled and said, "You're catching up. The Jinn said the same thing to me right before it screamed." The time anchor collapsed. I'm writing this inside a memory that's erasing itself. If you're reading this, you are the next node. Say his name aloud, seal it with the number 9, then burn the book or suffer the next reset. Fragment 0. Awakening in the eye's silence. I was born in darkness, but I remember the color blue. Cell 0 is not a room, it's a lens. I stood before the cracked mirror, and I saw every version of me, burning, looping, screaming, drowning. The mirror whispered, "Do not wake the world. The world is not real. You are the observer." Final entry. The eye opens, the mouth follows. I found the ancient sigils beneath the floor, the Ouroboros, the Eye of Ra, the Infinity Gate. I whispered the phrase Jack etched into his wall: 0, Flitman, 8. And the mirror shattered into light. It spoke in every voice that ever suffered. "Thank you for remembering." Then the mirror turned. It became your screen, and now you see yourself. The loop is closing. The Flipman loop wasn't a story, it was a recording, a memory fragment planted inside you. If it feels familiar, that's because it already happened. And it's still happening. The loop resets in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Uncanny Oddities. Thank you for coming in tonight. And tonight we got some really cool campfire stories for you. We thought we'd do some really cool spooky stories tonight to celebrate the Halloween episode that we recently did. Oh, good to see you, Old 8 Gauge. Good to see you in the chat. Thank you for coming in tonight. How did you like that? Just kind of went back to the beginning. That was fun. Well, I had fun with that. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had fun doing the different voices and the pausing and acting it out. That was a lot of fun for me. Well, that's all I got for tonight. I just wanted to, tell a bit of a scary story. I know it's a bit late, but we were doing the Halloween episode. Thank you, Old 8 Gauge, for coming to hang out with me tonight. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next week. Thank you, and as always, stay uncanny.